What if I told you that in the part of Southeast Asia, people believe money can be stolen by something isn't very human? Not a burglar, not being scammed, but by something we call Toyol spirit. In Malaysia and Indonesia, there is a legend about a creature that looks like a child. It's green in color, is small, bald, sometimes with glowing eyes. And according to the folklore, it can sneak invisible into homes at night searching for money. But the Toyol legend become even stranger if you look at the stories that appear in real community, because sometimes this accusation become very serious. In some village in Indonesia and Malaysia, people claiming the money repeatedly disappear from home, and suspicions began to spread. People start watching their neighbor more carefully. They begin asking questions: who suddenly have more money, who brought more expensive things, and who seems to have become wealthy overnight. And sometimes when no clear explanations appear, the suspicion turns towards something supernatural. Someone must be keeping a Toyol, and there have been cases where villagers gather together and to confront someone they believe was the practitioner or the controlling one. In a few reports in Indonesia, residents even search a suspected person's house. They look inside the cabinets, under furniture, inside container, searching for a jar, the object in green that contains a spirit servant. Of course, no Toyol were ever found, but the belief itself was really powerful enough to create a tension between neighbors. Anthropologists who study Southeast Asia folklore say this reveals something interesting, because Toyol accusations often appear in communities where sudden wealth become suspicious and someone become rich too quickly. People begin to ask questions. Did they cheat? Did they steal? Did they do something illegal? Or did they use Toyol? The Toyol legend, become way, if you want to explain, it feels very mysterious and unfair, because this story actually fascinating to compare some other traditions in Asia, because Toyol is not the only legends about spirit servant. But before we continue into those darker traditions, if you enjoy stories about strange folklore, supernatural legends, or simply just mysterious culture belief like this, I hope you take a moment to support this channel. Make sure you like this video, because that really helps the algorithm recommend it to more people who love stories while they are cleaning the house, driving on a long journey. You need some voices or podcasts. And yeah, if you are new here, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification so that you don't miss any future stories. And I love to hear what you think. Do you believe the Toyol legend is just a folklore? Is it fake, or do you think there must be something unexplainable behind these stories? Let me know in the comment below, and I'll read every comments, because I really want to know what future videos come from your suggestion and what you want to know more. Now let's continue. So because the Toyol legends become even stranger when we compare to other supernatural belief across Asia, we talk about Toyol is something very similar to Kumantong. But in Thailand, this is a similar belief involving a spirit, which is also a child. It's called Kumantong. But the name roughly translates to golden child if you say Kumantong. Like the Toyol, Kumantong is believed to be a practitioner, to be the spirit of a child. But unlike the Toyol, which is often associated with stealing money, the Kumantong is the opposition, who believe to bring protection and luck. Some people treat the Kumantong almost like a guardian's angel. So in their traditions, statues representing the spirits are placed in home, businesses, office, and they even buy toys, food, sweet drinks may be given in exchange. The spirit is believed to provide a lot of guidance and protection. So however, the historical folklore surrounding Kumantong is also deeply disturbing. Some early legends claim that powerful sorcerer create Kumantong through ritual involving unborn child. So, but modern Thai Buddhist monk condemn this practice. So today, Kumantong statues sold in market are simply symbolic charms, but the similarity between Toyol and Kumantong reveals something more interesting for me, because across the cultures, these legends about humans trying to control spirit for personal benefit, so that idea also appear in a lot of Chinese folklore. In certain traditions, there are the ghost child, which is known as GwaiTalk. Those are also like a spirit of children who died young. So in a lot of occult traditions, people believe spirit can be bound to object or talisman. And in a lot of Chinese folk magic, there are stories that rituals summon spirit to help obtain wealth. One very famous example is the practice known as five ghosts wealth magic. So these ritual spirits are believed to summon to help bring money or fortune, and these traditions are greatly different from Toyol folklore, but the underlying idea is quite similar. It's also like human controlling some unseen forces, to influence success or gaining wealth. So I think this is part of the culture across many Southeast Asia country. And there are also some modern market of black magic servant. Now the story coming to become darker, because in the internet era, the Toyol legend has not disappeared. Actually, in fact, it has evolved. In recent years, journalists and research have been reported something unusual online. Certain underground forums and social media group claims to sell supernatural services. Some claim to sell charms, protective talisman. Others sell wealth magic. Occasionally, sellers claim they can provide something even more shocking. Spirit servant, including something they describe as Toyol. These sellers often promise the same thing: money, money, money. They claim that by purchasing a spirit servant, the buyer can gain supernatural assistance in obtaining wealth. And of course, there is no absolutely scientific evidence that claims are real. Most experts believe these sellers are simply, I can say, scammer or exploiting superstition. But the fact that such market really exists reveals something more interesting. Even in the modern digital era, Asian folklore still influence how people think about luck, wealth, and power. And I also want to share some strange story. So despite of all the evidence, Toyol story still circulate. Some people claim to have seen small figure running across rooftop at night. Some heard about footsteps in their home. There are stories about people waking up and seeing a small shadow moving across the room. But by the time they turn on the light, there is nothing there. And in some stories, children claim to see small figures standing near the doorway. But when the adult looks, there is actually nothing. So this skeptic argues this experience may be explained by imagination, sleep disturbance, or misinterpretation of ordinary events. But for those who believe, the story feels very real, because there is always something about the legend. And one of the strongest themes behind Toyol is the fear of unexplained wealth. So when someone suddenly become very rich, people will just think about Toyol and GwaiTalk or Ghost Child. I think this really make people having a hope that by purchasing some of these services like Toyol that kept in a jar, so they will help about wealth and inequality without making any direct accusation. So in this way, the Toyol story become more than just ghost story. It's become a reflection of human society. So today, most researchers agree on one thing: there is no scientific evidence that Toyol exists, but the legend itself continues to survive. because this story reflects something deeply human, reflect the fear of our unseen forces, our suspicions of sudden wealth, our own fascinating about chasing magic and supernatural power. Perhaps this is why Toyol legend refused to disappear, because somewhere in the imaginations in our Southeast Asia folklore, there is still image of small creatures, childlike, invisible, and moving quietly through the darkness above your rooftop, searching through the drawers, looking for coins, looking for money, gold chain, rings, and for a master who may never be seen. And whether the Toyol is real or not, I think the story itself may continue to live on.